So first of all, I would like to say, to remember that my intention was to show transparency, how we make transparency between using markers. So I prepared two simple exercises, okay? A cube here, and then an interior of a car from a slight top view, so that we can see in an easy way, in a more complex way, complicated way, how I use the marker to make that transparency. As you can see, the first thing to do is to draw in transparency. I mean, all the lines of the object, everything that is inside, in perspective, so that we get a clear idea where we have the light, where we have a darker color, where we have a shadow, and between the objects, so that we can evaluate the different type of tone values of grays or colors if some of those things inside are in color. Okay, so I have with me my markers, my gray markers, the Copic markers, the full scale. I will start with the light marker, which is a number 4. Always test that it's working. It is working. So I go and I make basically the base of my transparent cube. All right, that way. Then we know that the top will be light. So I use a number 2 this time. Like that, you see? Now I let it dry. You can already feel the transparency between this part and the base. Then here I will go again to make sure that it's a little bit darker. And I can do something like that. You see? And this part will be darker. So if I use number 4, I will take number 4 again, and I will make this part darker. Because this is in shadow. Okay? So you already, again, we have already a feeling that this is darker. Now what I will do, I will just make this part a little bit darker, just at the beginning, just the way I did it here, dark light. I'll do the same thing here, like that. Okay, I let it dry. Then I'll take a number 3, and this part here will be a little bit darker. Then I take my number 4 again, and I make that base, this area, darker. And starting here, I will be a little bit darker. Okay, so if I tell you again what I did, basically every time that there is a glass and object inside, there is a transparency. Where we have the light, you see the lightest areas, we don't see very much of transparency. But when we are into the reflection area, like this area here, this area here, this area here, then we can see through, and that's why this part is darker. That's why this part is darker, because there is a superposition of two materials with different type of light. Therefore, there is a, how can I say, there is some together the both values, and therefore becomes a darker value. Same thing in this area. You see here. Here. Okay. Okay, now see if I look at this, and I think that I could do a little bit more just to make sure that we really have that distinction. I would push this value a little bit darker. And that's what I'm going to do now. Using a number 5. Just a little bit darker. Okay. So I made the base, okay? And then I realized that some of those parts must be a little bit darker. So here I go with my number 4 and I make a little bit of shading in this area. Here, just one. Okay, so we have a feeling of that transparency. Now let's transfer what we did here. So first of all, as you can see, I drove everything. Okay, so I have my side reflection, my windshield reflection, which is this one. Okay, and then on top I made a glass roof so that we can have additional transparency. You see? Little correction. So on the glass here, I will have also a little bit of reflection in this area. So all the reflections are sketched, pen in, and here I have all the elements, A pillar, B pillar, C pillar. And as you can see in transparency, I have everything. I have the back bench, which is this one here, as you can see, you know. I have the front seat with my headrest and back seat, okay, in perspective. Same thing for the passenger. Then my belt line, my A pillar, the A pillar here, in perspective. A little bit of the windshield, the instruments, but what is really interesting, it's what's gonna happen now. Let's see. First of all, this is a light gray body car, okay? So I will start using again my light marker just to make the reflections onto the body of the car. So here, a little bit here on top of this structure. Here, okay. Then let's not forget the reflection of the windshield onto the hood. All right, and now let's start playing with everything it's glass and transparency. So first of all, I use my number 8. I could also use number 7. Let's go for a number 7. Why? Because all the reflections, as you know, usually we make them black or number 9. But because we want to show a little bit more transparency, we're going to use a number 7, which is a medium dark tone, but not excessively dark. So let's see. that reflections is reflecting in the overall reflection onto the hood. Just had to fix this line a little bit more. Okay, so now we have this. Now, what do I do now? I put the core, okay? In general, I put the core with the chalk. This time we're going to use only markers. And the core, as you know, goes from dark to light, dark to light, dark to light. So I will build this up, okay? I don't go right away with the dark spot with markers, because then it's difficult to make the shading, you know, the gradation. So I will start with a number 4. Let's see what happens. So I do this. Okay, so now we have that medium tone. I will go with number 1 to blend a little bit better in this area. You see? And then let's not forget that we have also here our core. So I go with number 3. Trying to be darker in this area. Take my number 4 again. Go darker, because we want to go dark light. And I apply different type of pressure, you know, with my hand, to make sure that in some area like this one, there is a lots of color that goes onto the paper. When I come here, I try to be very light when I touch the paper, because I know it's not easy to get that thing, but you have to learn how to use your pressure so that you can manipulate, in a way, orientate the type of darkness you get with the same marker. You see, now we already start having a sort of gradation from dark to light. Now I'm searching for the number 5, which is this one, and I hit a little bit darker here. Okay, so let's say that this is enough, okay? So now, how do I get those interior objects, you know, that they kind of come out? The first thing I do, we let it dry, because we want this to be really dry. I use a number 9 gray to create the really medium dark tones inside. So, first of all, here, then in this area, it's really dark here. And also the pillar, the A pillar on the other side. And also a little bit of this part, where we have the belt line. Now, same thing is happening here, because this is the transparent part. So I put a black line there, and I start sketching the other elements, which are those ones. In the back, gotta be very careful not to exaggerate. So can you see now we are starting to feel that transparency. And now the last thing that in general I do, if inside the car, for example, the seats are a dark brown, okay, or a orange. Let's say that they are orange, like this orange. What do? I take that orange and I go over those areas like that, and I put the orange not everywhere, because I know that some of this there is the light, so I cannot put it everywhere, but I make sure to make understand to my brain that those elements have a different color. You see, now we get that feeling. I can put a little bit there too, you have to measure how you add. Now this part, the screen, the back screen, let's say that it is darker. See, that's what I would do. Then I take a number 6. Where did I put it? Number 6, here. And I create a shading. Then I put also in here some of that yellow. You see? Then I take my number 3 and I try to hit a little bit stronger here, because it's too white there. So you see, I can go back and play with the values. Here too, it's too dark, it's too light. So what do? I go back with my orange and I bring that orange a little bit more over there, because there is all the seat there, the door panel too. Like that. Then I can go over that, a little bit with my number 7 here too. All right. Now, I know that you cannot see really well because of the light here, but if I take this and I put it close, you can have a feeling, of all that shading. So now what's left? First of all, I take my black and I put the black really in the darkest area. This one, the reflection, here. A little bit in this area here. Then on top of that reflection, and at the bottom, like that. And also here. And I can even put a little bit of that feeling here, just a little. Okay, so now this is done. I take my white pencil. So I take a white pencil. I make the nice sharp point, and I do some highlights. You're gonna see that this is gonna be really, really nice with this white. Now I'll take my brush and I will add just few highlights, really just 2 or 3. Let's have to look for my brush. So one here, one here, another one here, then another one here, well, another one here, and our nice side graphics dot here and here. I hope that you like this demo, and I see you next Friday live, because now everything is working. Thank you very much. Bye.